What's up, everybody? I'm Mongoose. You are awesome, and today on Your Goose is Cooked, we are making spinach and chicken ravioli with a garlic butter sauce. We're going to pair it up with this Highlands Brewing Company Daycation IPA. Highlands Brewing Company is out of Asheville, North Carolina. I'm not a huge fan of IPAs, but I think it will go well with this dish. So, let's get to it. So to make the chicken and spinach ravioli, of course, we are going to need chicken. I'm using boneless, skinless chicken breasts. You can use whatever you want. I'm going to need baby spinach. I got this big package of it. Probably not going to need the whole thing, but we'll see. A cup, maybe a cup and a half of ricotta cheese. There we go. Whoops. Ricotta, there we go. Half a stick of butter. 4 cloves of garlic. 2 cloves will go into the filling. 2 cloves for the sauce. 2 cups of all-purpose flour, which is misleading labeling. You can't use the fight off coyotes, so it's not all-purpose. 2 tablespoons of water. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 2 eggs. And the real secret ingredient here, the key ingredient really, is half a roasted red pepper. You can roast these yourself, but I buy these canned because I use them a lot and I don't want to be wasteful by roasting an entire pepper when I only really need half. Some fresh or dried basil. Parmesan cheese. Salt and pepper, of course. And some Italian dressing. Whatever kind you like, it's just going to be used to marinate the chicken. So let's start off with the chicken. So just open here. What we're going to do is, we're going to put the chicken, we're going to put 2 chicken breasts in this plastic bag. We're going to marinate it with the Italian dressing. So just squirt a bunch of it in there. About a quarter cup maybe? Doesn't really matter. Enough to cover up the chicken. And then you stick your chicken breast in here. You want to test your chicken to make sure it's good. Go ahead and just give it a lick. I'm just kidding, don't fucking lick raw chicken. I should watch what I say on this show. Just stuff them in there. We're going to try and get some of the air out of the bag by folding it over a bit. Seal it on up. Swish it around in there. I'm going to stick this in the fridge, and I'm going to go put these 2 in some plastic bags to keep them, and wash my nasty chicken hands. Well, about 2 hours have elapsed, and it's time to cook our chicken. So, leave this in, I would say, no less than an hour for the marinade, but no more than 4 hours. More than 4 hours, it will actually start to cook in the marinade. You can kind of see where it has started to a little bit here. Oh, you can see it really well on this piece. Going out here. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but you see it started whitish. The skin has actually started to cook, not the skin, but the meat has actually started to cook a little bit in the marinade. So we're going to take our chicken, throw it in the pan. It's already oiled from the marinade, so we don't have to add any kind of oil to the pan. You should always oil your food instead of the pan too. But anyway, we're going to go with medium-high heat. If you don't know what medium-high is, you got high and then you got medium. About fucking halfway between the two is medium-high heat. So we're going to put this in and let it go for about 2 to 3 minutes on either side. Flip them and then we'll finish them off in the oven. 2 minutes have passed. Let's flip our little chickens over. And that's what you're looking for. A little bit of char on there. A little bit of golden brown deliciousness. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. So we're gonna let this set for about another 2 minutes, and then we're gonna finish it off in the oven. About another 2 minutes have gone by. Let's go ahead and flip this chicken over. Nice, beautiful, beautiful. That is what we are looking for. Very nice. So we're just going to take this and throw it in the oven. Oh, thought I was going to grab this barehanded, didn't you? Not today, Uncle Jesse. Not today. So the oven mitt, I'm going to stick this in the oven. So you might need 2 oven mitts. If you're not strong enough to just one hand lift this. And stick it in a 400-degree oven on bake for about 10 to 12 minutes. Now we're going to go ahead and take our chicken out. Check the bottom. Oh man, look at that. Look at that goodness. Look at it. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Right on. So that's going to be delicious. However, we're going to let it rest. We're going to let it rest. The residual heat's going to let it cook through all the way. And also, not only are we going to let it rest, we're going to throw this in the refrigerator because cold chicken is easier to cut up than warm chicken. Oh, look at these little bits. I'm going to eat this one. God damn, that's good. So I'm going to stick this in the fridge and we're going to get started on the filling. Now we're going to cook the spinach for the chicken and spinach ravioli. First off, let's get the paper off of this garlic. If you don't know how to do this, you just put your knife down, take the heel of your hand, give it a smack, and the paper will just come right off. Just like that. Boom, there we go. Paperless garlic. So, we're going to smash this up real good. We're going to use it as flavoring, so we're going to need a little bit of salt. I'm going to give it another good hit. A little bit smashy smash. Then we're just going to start giving it a chop. And once we got chopped up a little bit, take a little bit of salt. This isn't really for flavor, more for just helping grind this garlic up. My knife skills probably aren't on par with some of yours. If you have one of those garlic crusher things, it'd probably be perfect right here. I do not have one though. Okay, we got our garlic going. We got our pan going at medium heat. Notice we left the chicken bits in there because that's just going to add more flavor. That's flavored gold right there. We're going to put some oil in the pan. I know what I said earlier, but we're going to put oil in the pan this time. Scooch our garlic on in there. It's going to start to sizzle up a bit. Take our tongs and move that around. Try and scrape up some of those chickeny bits. Careful not to burn yourself while you're doing this. Don't want the garlic to cook too long or it'll get bitter. That's probably long enough right there. Get on off there. Now let's take our spinach. Big old grip of it. Yes, a grip is an actual unit of measurement. A grip of spinach. Now this stuff is going to reduce down quite a bit. So let's take another handful here. Reposition the camera. We're just going to keep moving this around, making sure that the garlic doesn't burn to the bottom of the pan, that the spinach doesn't burn to the bottom either. Those yummy bits up. The heat might be a little too high here. I've got this hot plate recently to help me with this cooking show. Yeah, I don't really know the temperatures that well on it. I probably should have gone about mid to low heat on this, but it's working out all right. Right, and when you've got a nice bunch of it like this, nice and cooked through, we're just going to go ahead and remove it from the pan. Let's turn the heat off while we're at it. And the garlic actually cooked perfectly there, so maybe I did have the right heat. See, notice that it's brown, but it's not black. I like it a little crispy, but not too crispy. Not too crispy. Done with that pan. Okay, to make our filling, we're going to need our shitty blender. We're going to need our ricotta cheese. If you can't roll your R's like that, you have no business buying ricotta cheese. Oh, come on. Oh, you're being an ass. You're being an asshole. Really? How dare you try and ruin my cooking show, ricotta cheese. So, I don't know. I think I would say about a cup and a half of this. Just fill your blender up about half to 3/4 of the way. It's on you. If it's too thin, add more. If it's too thick, add less. I don't know, you can add less, but start with a base and then add more as you need. Now let's go ahead and put our spinach in as well. Get down in there. So I want to make some room in here, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a little buzz. Oh, this blender is so bad. Get our basil, stick it on in, and our roasted red pepper, booyah, and a little bit of salt and pepper. And blend it up. Let's give it a taste. Where did I put that spoon? Right here. Yeah, that's really good. Don't skip the roasted red pepper. That is like essential for this. That's what makes this like super fucking good. This blender sucks so bad, it is smoking right now. So let's put this in. I'm just gonna stick it in the bowl that I had the spinach resting in. And good to go. Let's set that aside for later. I'm gonna go ahead and make the pasta, which this recipe is going to differ a little bit from the penny dropper pasta recipe. We're gonna actually mix all the wet ingredients first and then add the dry. So let's take our 2 eggs. Oh, that was a terrible crack. Yeah, at least it didn't get any shell in there. Yeah, it did. Now we'll go ahead and beat the shit out of these eggs. Add in our olive oil and our water. Mix that up thoroughly. Now we're going to start adding in our flour a little bit at a time. A couple good shakes. Mix it up, make sure it's fully incorporated as always. Add a little more flour in. We're going to keep mixing this until it's a little difficult to mix with the fork. That's when we will start kneading it. Alright, it's at the point where it's not really mixing anymore, right? So we're going to dump it out and start kneading it. So we still got quite a bit of the flour left. Just make yourself a nice work surface with the flour. I'll use a little bit of flour on my hands. We'll start kneading it up. So, Italian food. One thing I learned watching Bizarre Foods with Andrew Zimmern. I don't know if you ever heard of this show. Andrew Zimmern is absolutely fantastic. Probably my favorite food personality out there. There's a show called Bizarre Foods where he goes and eats foods from other cultures or around the United States, and it is absolutely amazing because he's always very respectful of the people that he interacts with, and I mean, he always tries the food no matter how gross or bizarre, as they say, it looks, and it's a fantastic show. But I bring that up because, as many of you may know, I am from West Virginia, and he did a show in West Virginia, and he was saying that the most authentic old world Italian food that you can get is in West Virginia. Now, why that is because coal miners or Italian immigrants came in to mine coal in West Virginia, and then they were just kind of locked off in the mountains away from the rest of pretty much the world. If you've ever been to West Virginia, you will know that that is quite plausible. But the thing is that in Italy, they kind of moved on and progressed, and the food changed. Whereas in the mountains of West Virginia, where everybody was kind of sealed off, there was no outside influences, so the food never really changed. I kind of think that's sort of bullshit, because you would think there's probably areas in Italy that are a lot like West Virginia that are kind of closed off too. So I would think that would probably be the most authentic old world Italian you could get. Also, if the food you get in West Virginia is authentic old world Italian, then thank God Italy fucking moved on, because I love West Virginia, and there are some good places to get food in West Virginia, but most of it is just terrible, absolutely horrible. Just very bland and flavorless, including any of the Italian food that you get in West Virginia. But I don't know, other than that, it's a great state. A lot of people talk shit about West Virginia, but West Virginia is just like any other state you've ever been to, only like 5 to 10 years in the past. It's like you enter some sort of weird time portal when you go into West Virginia. Stuff that was in style like 5 or 10 years ago is just now taking hold in West Virginia. Like, I guarantee in West Virginia right now, there's a bunch of people walking around catching Pokemon. Like when you get a brand new textbook and you look at the pictures and you're like, why the fuck are these pictures from like 10 years ago when this is a brand new textbook? Because they take those pictures in West Virginia. But it is a beautiful state. I enjoyed growing up there. There are dangers, of course. I did get chased by a bear one time. My dog went out and messed with its cub, and when the bear started chasing my dog, ran straight back to me. I had no idea what it was my dog was running from. He would often get chased by deer after he would mess with their fawns. So that's kind of what I thought it was, and it was on these old logging roads. West Vaco, this paper company, would have did a lot of logging back behind my house, and yeah, me and my dog used to walk up there all the time. So I wasn't expecting a bear. I was expecting to be chased by a deer. Luckily, I was armed with a samurai sword because I was a weird fucking little kid. And I was probably about 14 or 15 at the time, I would say. That samurai sword worked great for throwing on the ground while I turned and ran in fucking terror. I don't think the bear chased me. Bears are pretty fast, especially black bears. I wouldn't say especially black bears, but bears in general are pretty fast. So I don't think she chased me. She probably would have caught me, but talk about man's best friend, my dog. By the time I turned around to run from that bear, my dog was already about a quarter mile down the road. He probably could have beat a nitro boosted car. That dog was just fucking getting it. Just left me at the mercy of the bear. Man's best friend, my ass. So we didn't use nearly all the flour, and this dough is about perfect. It's a little sticky, so I'm going to add a little bit more flour. Just scoop up a little bit that's on the work surface here and knead it in. And then we'll set the flour aside, set the dough aside, I should say, and cut up the chicken and start forming up the ravioli. sure the camera's on. It is indeed. So I'm just going to slice this in half and then I'm going to cut some small chunks of the chicken. Oh, I should have sliced this along the bias. That would have been much better. So that's what I'm going to do this time. Get this out of the way. So I'm going to slice it at this angle. Much better. Much, much better. So we're cutting, I was cutting against the grain of the muscle at first, but now I'm cutting with it. It's making much better little chunks for us. So I think I want to slice it down this way this time. Slice along the bias, just like this. And be sure to help yourself to a little chunk of chicken. Out of the way. Now let's pull out our filling. Wipe up our surface here a little bit and divide it in half. Make a nice little ball out of this. Still a little sticky on the inside there. That's okay, that's what we got the flour for. Actually, I need some more flour. I dumped that other bit of flour so I can make room for the dough. That was a mistake. There we go. Take a rolling pin, flour that up a little bit. Then we're going to roll our dough out. If you have a pasta roller, that would be a good time to use it. A little more flour on the top of this. There we go. Now we'll roll it one way, we're going to flip it, roll it the other way. Try and keep this rectangular. This is where the tablecloth comes in. A bit of a pain in the butt. We're going to roll this out as thin as we can, while still maintaining a basically rectangular shape. When it starts getting too thin to flip, you're in the money. Roll this back. Okay, there's one. Set it off to the side, and let's make another. Now, in order to form our ravioli, I'm going to break out my secret weapon, which is a mini muffin tin. I don't use this just for ravioli. Sometimes I use it as an ice tray. I use it to make these neat little breakfast mini quiches with like rice on the bottom. Those are really good. I might show you how to make those one day. About the only thing I don't use it for is to make little mini muffins and to fight off coyotes. So it is not all-purpose. It doesn't meet the all-purpose standard of being able to fight off coyotes, just like the all-purpose flour. So we're going to flour up the insides. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it to where the dough is not going to stick. About like that. We'll take our dough, lay it right over the middle, let it contract a little bit, and start pushing it down in to the little cups. Use your thumbs and pat it down. Then we'll take a little bit of chicken, put it in each one of these. Oh, you want to go in there? It's fine. Put a couple little pieces of sandwich in there. You go. And we got our chicken in. I could probably make another one off of this. This one right here. There we go. Maybe make another one out of this one right here. There we go. Alright, cool beans. We get a spoon so we can spoon in the filling. Make sure that one doesn't have enough chicken. Neither does this one here, I don't think. Get some more chicken in there. So we'll take some of our filling, spoon it into each one. Make sure it doesn't overflow. After you spoon this, let it settle down so it settles in around the chicken. That one's a little too overfilled right there. Okay, so we want to give it a little bit of time for that filling to kind of lay flat a little bit. Put a little more in this one. There you go. So, completely optional, you can make an egg wash to make sure everything seals up. So we're going to do that. I'm going to take a little paintbrush. I'm going to use this to just paint around the edges where the ravioli would seal up. That's going to help it stick together. I'm actually probably using a little too much. Doesn't matter if you get a little bit of filling in there too, that'll just help it seal as well. So there we go. Now let's take our top piece that we rolled out, flop it over everything, let it lay nice and flat, push it down. Then we'll take our roller, gently roll it over at first, applying a bit more pressure as you go. Make sure you get off to the sides. This is going to seal everything up. Take a cookie sheet, put it on the top, flip it over. Hopefully, shake these a bit. Pop them out. Excellent. The roller, just cut right down the middle of the rows. Add a little bit more flour over here so they don't stick. You have that sticky egg wash on them. I'm going to take a fork and just crimp the ends here to further aid them in staying together. So slide these off onto the lid. But we're going to go ahead and make our sauce, which is going to be stupidly simple. Take that half stick of butter. Come on out, butter. And stick it in a little pan. We got our heat going on pretty low. We got it on 1. Let's set it up to about 2. There we go. While that's melting down, let's take our other 2 cloves of garlic. Smash them a little bit to get that paper off. Don't want to smash them too much this time because we want a little bit bigger chunks of garlic. It's going to be that garlic butter sauce. So we're going to slice it nice, thin. We're going to have some pretty big chunks here. Make sure you don't cut your fingers. Stir this butter up, cut it up a little bit so it melts a little faster. Increase the surface area that is getting heat applied to it. Butter's starting to melt. Let's go ahead and add our garlic in. Just going to scoop it all up on my knife. Throw it in. And mix it up. See how it's bubbling like that? That means it's too hot. So let's turn the heat down. Let's go to minimum and just let it kind of sit here and cook while we go and add the raviolis to the water. Got us a pot of pot of boiling water. Just going to add some of these raviolis in, and you only need to cook them. This is fresh pasta, so they only need to cook for about 1 to 2 minutes before they're done. All the ingredients are already cooked and everything, so it's not like you're trying to cook anything from a raw state. I'm going to add all of these in right now. Just the pretty ones. There we go. Let that go for, like I said, 1 to 2 minutes. When they start floating up at the top is when you know they're done. And that's it. They're done that fast. So I'm going to take a slotted spoon, pull them out one by one, because I want this to look pretty for the camera. You could just do this with a strainer if you wanted to. Whoops. Make sure you don't splash boiling water on your hands. All right, plate these up. First, we're going to take our sauce. As you can see, it's gotten nice and browned. Take a little bit of this out. Drizzle it over like so. Try not to get big. Try to distribute those crispy bits of garlic evenly. Everything in here is pretty soft. I mean, even the chicken's kind of soft. The crispy bits of garlic really go a long ways towards improving the texture of the entire dish. Boom, there we go. Take our Parmesan cheese and just shave some off the top. If you didn't watch the previous episode, if you don't have a cheese grater like this, what you can do, grab a knife. If you don't have a cheese grater, what you can do is take your knife and just run it along the edge of the cheese and make nice little shavings as well. And with a little bit of salt, little bit of pepper. Here I'm going to use marjoram in my standard nod to Raceland. And boom, there we go. Let's make that look a little prettier. Put one of these on top right there, boom. Doesn't that look nice? Doesn't that look just fucking beautiful? All right, time to grab our beer and get going. Let me clean up the work area a little bit. All right, so moment of truth. First, let's see if we can get a bit of a cross section going here. Get out here, chicken. Oh yeah, does that not look fucking amazing? Let me tell you, it most certainly, from experience, is. Let me try this out. Fuck, that's good. I'm gonna dip my balls in it. Get another one. Oh no, gotta drink the beer. God damn, that is good. Oh, I outdo myself every time I do one of these fucking shows. So the Daycation IPA, it's a hoppy floral. It's a hoppy floral session. That is hoppy and floral. I think I did well this time. That's a good match. It's essentially a pretty heavy dish, so you get your IPAs are normally high on the hops, which is what gives beer the kind of piney taste. So all of that, and like as it says, it has a floral note to it, helps to cut through some of the heaviness of the ravioli. The ravioli is, oh my god, so amazing. So that's it for today's episode of Your Goose is Cooked. I hope you found it entertaining and informative. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe for more. Next week, I think I'm going to get into my newest obsession, which is breakfast smoothies. And don't worry, I'm not going to force one of those green piece of shit concoctions on you with kale and all that bullshit. I'm making good ones that'll fill up your tummy and taste good on the way out the door. So, yeah, be sure to share. Yeah, be sure to share this video with your friends, and I think that is it for today. As always, this is Mongoose saying, if you're out there and you're hungry, you can go eat a dick.
Mangoose.